Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo and Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, it does not work without you guys. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up those football gods. Wake up. Okay, so, we're into the silly season of the NFL year. We, of course, it's the off season for us because, well, let's face it, we stink. We didn't make the playoffs. We're not playing in the, conference championships with the rights to go to the Super Bowl. We, unfortunately, are one of those many teams that are out there, 28 of them to be exact right now, that are trying to figure out how they can be in championship weekend. And our task with our defense, we got a lot to do. We're awful. One of the worst defenses ever in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys, like many teams right now, have made changes with coaching from head coaches to coordinators. We interviewed a few people, we hired a few people, and we have Dan Quinn to replace Mike Nolan. It was interesting because Dan Quinn recently said, I think the number one thing is making sure that there is an identity defensively of physicality, speed, relentless effort. Those are the things that you want everybody always to see when we're playing. Well, when Dan Quinn was first hired, I was trying to find out as much information about him as I could. And I came across a video from right after they won the Super Bowl. And people kept saying, why do you keep showing that video? I said, because this may be a window into his soul. The one thing I can say about Dan Quinn is he's consistent. And so I'm going to replay this clip because I think it's really, really important. Let's listen to it here for a minute, okay? Just bear with me, okay? Some of you have seen it, some of you haven't. But let's listen to it again.
Whatever conditions were to come up tonight, we really, one of the main things we want to do is just play at our style. And we did that tonight. That was one of the things going in all year long. We're fast, we're physical, and we have a real style about how we play. I thought that came out tonight.
Coach, game like this make defense again?
I certainly hope so. Couldn't be more proud to be part of that unit that plays, with an aggressive style. We talk about out-hitting people in terms of how we want to affect the quarterback and even checking the ball down, the way we want to tackle. We want to win it with fundamentals, and our guys work really hard in that fashion. It's something that our coaching staff and the players, we talk tackling, we talk turnovers, really every day that we practice, and that's what we came to tonight.
What do you get, Joe?
Well, we certainly have so much respect for their offense the way it did. So I was not surprised that we played well. We've had terrific weeks of practice and preparation. So going into it, we were healthy and really felt like we were going to play fast and physical. We prepared for no huddle for 2 weeks, and if you give those
Fast and physical
2 weeks
twice.
to prepare, the coaches and those players, I think you're going to like the results.
What did you feel your player about to the game?
Really just how proud I was to be part of the unit, and the thing that I was most impressed about is that we really played in a style and fashion that we're accustomed to. We're fast, we're physical, we played this game on our terms.
Fast and physical,
that was one of the things we went into the game saying, and for us to go and play it in that way, and have it come true in that way, it was awesome.
What do the Seahawks run the all-time greatest defense?
I'll let you guys decide that. I couldn't be more fired up to be part of our unit and the attitude and the way that we play, so I'll leave that to you guys. Coach Carroll has been he's been huge for my career. I think just how to feature the players, and let's find what a player can do well, and let's accent that. And that would be one of the many things that he's taught me.
What did that first front? Did you anticipate it would be that one-sided? It looked like it was dominating their offense.
I don't know about that, but I certainly know our guys know how to rush, and that was one of the things we knew. When you face a quarterback like him, you better be able to affect him. We didn't talk about sacks or hits. We talked about can we get him off the spot. And we knew in certain coverages there was going to be times when he got the ball out and under 2.2, 2.3, which is hard for a rusher. We know sometimes it can be, if it's at 2.6 or 2.7, that's when you can get the hit. So we knew they'd have to deal with us, in terms of, I was fired up for Quinn and what he was able to do, and Cliff and Michael have been doing that for a while. So it was just another example of how, we have a really deep front. And some games you have to play real hard ball. It's going to be a running team. And then there's games like tonight where it's going to be more featured pass rush.
What did that Manning several times audibled into a run like Bobby Wagner was nodding. He came back and made a signal. Did you guys know any of the calls and the signals?
We did not. In fact, some of our calls, we just wanted to have some fun, and we made up some calls just so we'd be able to do some too.
Okay, so he said in that clip 3 times, fast and physical, fast and physical. So when he says, I want to make sure that our identity is physicality, speed, relentless effort. It's the same thing. At least he's got a consistent message. I, for one, am excited because if you listen to those things in there, there's some needs that we're going to need to get on this defense. He talked about pass rushing and getting Peyton Manning off the block, making him not being able to throw as quickly, that you want to get pressure on them, that their defensive line was deep and very, very physical. And that's a problem. We've got a lot of ends. Our defensive line, we do not have a lot of depth there. We got Tristan Hill will be coming back, who will only be in his 3rd year, where his 1st year was not real great. We thought maybe he might be a bust. We started seeing some flashes, but we didn't see a half a season out of him. And then, of course, Gallimore, who didn't really start playing till the middle of the season. So we don't have a lot of experience. So to me, what this says is we need some more defensive linemen. We're okay with ends. I think that Aldon Smith will get re-signed because you might be able to use him in a rotation with the tackle, because he would be kind of like that Cliff Averill type of a player, but they also had that Michael Bennett, who was that stud that could stop the run and put pressure on. And we need to develop these guys. I'm actually excited about Dan Quinn from the standpoint of what they were able to do. The big problem for our Cowboys is figuring out how we get those guys in this team. I spoke this morning about the draft. If you're fortunate in the draft, if you can get one impact player, if you can get a second starter, if you can get some depth or role players, and if you can get a special team standout, that's an outstanding draft. Unfortunately, we need more than that in this draft to really turn this defense around. What we're really going to have to do is we're going to probably have to keep some of these guys, especially cornerbacks, that we look at right now and say, But what it might be is a change of direction, because the other thing you hear from him is he talks about winning with fundamentals. And looking at this team, some of these guys look like they've never played Little League football before in some of the techniques that we saw. Tackling, for one, was atrocious. Pursuit angles. Come on, man. You guys are taking a banana route to get the guys. Pass rush integrity, rushing and keeping your gap covered, were all things that if the guys had played normal, what you expect, the defense would have been night and day better. So what you hope for with Dan Quinn and crew is that they can take some of the pieces that we have existing that we have to keep, that we can't replace right now, and we'll get the most out of them. That we can supplement this with a few free agents. And I'm not talking bottom basement. Please, no more bottom basement guys. And in the draft, that you can identify guys that fit your system, that aren't guys that will constantly be on injured reserve. That's what's needed to turn this team around. So I'm happy about him. Actually, I want to see what he does. The thing that he gets knocked for is the Atlanta Falcons situation. And it's funny because we kind of cherry pick how we view people. With Eric Bieniemy, they say, oh, well, he's not calling plays. That's why he's not getting a job. Yet guys who aren't calling plays with less experience are getting it. But being a coordinator is different than being a head coach. A head coach is more like being a CEO, where you're in charge of all of the coaches that are there and making sure you delegate what they need to do. The coordinator is the guy who has to come up with the theory of what we're going to do. Are we a 4-3? Are we a 3-4? Are we gonna blitz? Are we gonna sit back in coverage? That's what your defensive coordinator does. And maybe Dan Quinn failed as a head coach because they went to a Super Bowl and got their butts kicked and wasn't a team rebuilder. But that's not what we're asking him to do. We're asking him to take a defense and get the most out of it, something that he has succeeded with. So we'll have to wait and see what it is, but at least we're hearing the same message that he posted back there when they were the best defense in football. Number one in yardage, number one in points, number one in taking the football away. So when you speak physical, speed, and relentless effort, I am 100% on board with that. Those were all things that this defense was lacking last year. So that's all I got for you right now. And in 98 days, 23 hours, 23 minutes, and 15 seconds, it's going to be the beginning of the draft where we'll have another chance to make this team better. I'll be catching you later.